today I will discuss about the Mendelian disorder, which is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Okay, so first we have to know what is the meaning of this Mendelian disorders. So you know the disorder, what is the meaning of disorder? That is one type of abnormality and the cause may be different, and the genetic disorders, these genetic disorders can be differentiated into two. One, Mendelian disorder, and another chromosomal disorder. Okay, so genetic disorders may be of two types, Mendelian disorder and chromosomal disorder. So the Mendelian, and today I will discuss first with the Mendelian disorder. Okay, so genetic disorder means that this can be transmitted through our parents or from one generation to the next generation. Okay, so Mendelian disorders are determined by the alteration or mutation of the single gene. You know what is gene? It is the functional part of the DNA, and in the DNA mutation can occur. So what is mutation? That one also you know, the different types of mutation, sudden change in the DNA. So Mendelian disorders are determined by this alteration or mutation in a single gene, and these disorders can be transmitted from the parents to the offspring. Okay, as if we study the principles of inheritance, you know what is the meaning of inheritance? That means transmission of characters from one generation to the next generation. So these disorders can be transmitted from parents to the offspring. Now how will you be able to find out the Mendelian disorder? With the help of the pedigree. In one class I have discussed what are the different symbols of pedigree, and with the help of this pedigree, this Mendelian pedigree analysis, with the help of this pedigree analysis, Mendelian disorders can be determined very easily. Okay, and there are some examples of Mendelian disorders. What are they? These are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria. I am repeating, what are they? These are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, and phenylketonuria, and there are thalassemia, etc. And this Mendelian disorder may be dominant or recessive. You know the meaning of dominant and recessive. Dominant means which can be expressed only in the presence of the another type of allele, or it can be expressed in the heterozygous condition, and recessive means it can only express only in the presence of identical allele, like small t, it will be the dwarf plant, and capital T small t, it will express the tall plant, as only one dominant part is there, that is capital T. Okay, so these Mendelian disorders can be understood by all these, and the trait may also be linked to the same chromosome, sex chromosome. This trait may be connected with the sex chromosome, and this example of this one is hemophilia. Okay, so it is the evidence of X-linked recessive trait, and with the help of pedigree we can find this one. So first I will discuss about the hemophilia. So in your syllabus, three main Mendelian disorders are there, that is hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, and phenylketonuria. So first I will discuss about the hemophilia. So it is a sex-linked recessive disorder. It is a sex-linked recessive disease or disorder. So which shows that transmission from unaffected carrier female to some male progeny has been widely studied. Okay, so what happens in this particular hemophilia? It is a disorder in which the vital factors for blood clotting is lacking. some blood clotting factors are lacking. That's why the blood will not clot within the proper time. So blood loss, huge blood loss will occur, and this may be fatal. Okay. So this one is a disorder in which a vital factor for clotting of blood is lacking. So clotting is abnormally delayed, leading to excess loss of blood, which may become fatal. Okay, and the disease is normally transmitted by the heterozygous or carrier female to the male progeny, and the possibility of a female being hemophilic is very rare, as mother has to be carrier and father to be hemophilic. So now we will see when a son may be hemophilic or when a daughter become a hemophilic or affected. Now, as it is a sex-linked disorder and recessive, so I am writing it like that. That is the female and that is the male. In such case, we can call it that mother and father. Just as it is a recessive disorder, so if it is present like that, I am writing XH to determine the hemophilia. Okay, that means affected gene. So if a female is having this one, the female will be carrier. The female will not be hemophilic. Why? Because it is a recessive disorder. Okay, means daughter will be affected if both mother and father are affected. Yes. So your condition is, look, you are saying like that. Okay, so the daughter will be like that. Clear? So the daughter will be hemophilic. Now look at the situation which one I am showing to you. That just imagine mother is the carrier and father is the hemophilic. Sorry, father is normal. Then if their son becomes like that, son will get Y from the father only, and their son will get X from the mother. So if son gets this X chromosome, then the son will be affected. But if the son gets this, the normal X chromosome and this Y chromosome, so the son will be normal. So from this we can call it that the disease is normally transmitted by the heterozygous or carrier female to the male progeny. So from the carrier female it can be transmitted to the male progeny. Okay, just imagine from this a female can be affected. Can a female be affected from these parents? No. Very good. Why? Because as we know that it is a X-linked recessive one. So it is a recessive disease. Whenever a normal X chromosome is present, that one is dominant. So in these cases, the female will show its expression as normal, as this X is the dominant, but the female will be carrier. Okay, now if there's daughter born, then daughter may carry this X chromosome or this X chromosome, and another chromosome will be normal X. So the daughter may be this one or this, right? So there is no chance to become affected in the daughter, because it is a X-linked recessive disease. Okay, ma'am, if the father is affected, then it possibly by a girl child affected. You are saying father affected. Not possibly. You can see if the child gets these two X and XH, then will the daughter be affected? This condition. Yes or no? No, because it is a X-linked recessive disease. So it is only possible when this condition occurs, like these two. If these two comes, so there is a chance. There is a 50% of chance of being affected in case of these daughters. Okay, so 50% will be like that, and 50% may be affected. So from this we can call it that the disease is normally transmitted by the heterozygous or carrier female to the male progeny, and the possibility of female being hemophilic is very rare, as her mother is to be carrier and father a hemophilic. The condition is unviable in later stages. Okay, so this condition is unviable. That's why we can say that only the affected condition of the affected female is very rare. Okay, the condition of the affected female is very rare. The males will be affected generally. Okay, now that you know that for blood clotting a cascade mechanism is there. So if some proteins are lacking in this cascade mechanism, so blood clotting will be affected, and as a result it will be like non-stop bleeding, and the person may die also. And so what we have got, another important part, that is that father should be hemophilic father, and it is unviable in the later stage of life. This term you have to remember. Okay, and this example of hemophilia can be found in the Queen Victoria. The family pedigree of Queen Victoria shows a number of hemophilic descendants, as she was the carrier of the disease. Queen Victoria was the carrier, so in his descendants, as you can, I have shown you that how from the carrier their descendants may be affected. So that is the example. So that is all about hemophilia. Next one is sickle cell anemia. So what happens in the sickle cell anemia? So it is next one is sickle cell anemia. It is a autosomal linked recessive trait. So that is a autosomal recessive disorder. Sickle cell anemia is the autosomal recessive disorder, and this can be transmitted from parents to the offspring when both the partners are carrier for this gene. If both the partners are carrier, then this only can be transmitted from the parents to the offspring, and this disease can be controlled by a single pair of allele, that is HBA and HBS. Okay, and it will be having the genotypes, like it is having 3 genotypes. Like what will be the 3 genotypes in the possible genotypes in sickle cell anemia? These are HBA, 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 HBS, HBS, HBS. Okay, these are the 3 possible genotypes, that is HBA, 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 HBS, HBS, HBS. Now individuals homozygous for HBS, HBS suffer from the disease and die very early. So the person which are having HBS means that is denoting the sickle cell part. Okay, that A means that is normal. So if a person is having HBS, HBS condition, then the person will suffer in sickle cell anemia, and the person will die very early. Okay, and heterozygous individuals, so this one is the homozygous, and you can see that this one is the heterozygous condition. So heterozygous individuals appear apparently unaffected. They will appear apparently unaffected. Why? They are having a normal one, but they are carriers of this disease who can pass the disorder to the next progeny. So this person will be a carrier. So this can be passed to the next generation. Okay, and why this defect is caused? This defect is caused by substitution of the glutamic acid. So what happens? In the sixth position there is a glutamic acid, and the glutamic acid will be substituted by valine. That is the main problem. So what is the problem and why sickle cell anemia can cause that? The defect is caused by the substitution of glutamic acid by valine in the sixth position of beta polypeptide of hemoglobin. It is the beta polypeptide chain of hemoglobin, and the defective hemoglobin causes the sickling of RBC. The RBC will be like that. Okay, you know the shape of the RBC is biconcave, but for this change, for this mutation substitution, the shape of the erythrocytes will be like that, sickle shape. Okay, so I am repeating that how this can cause. The defect is caused by the substitution of the glutamic acid. So in the 1 position valine is present, 2 position histidine is present, 3rd position leucine, 4th position threonine, 5th position proline, and 6th position glutamic acid, and the glutamic acid is replaced by the valine at the 6th position of the beta globin chain of hemoglobin molecule. These can be changed in the beta globin chain in the hemoglobin molecule. Okay, and the substitution of the amino acid in the globin protein results due to single base substitution in the 6th codon of the beta globin. So it will be converted like that from GAG it will be converted into GUG. So you know what is codon, and codons are responsible for determining the particular protein. So if codons has been changed, so the proteins will be changed. Okay, so your first one is valine, second one is histidine, third one is leucine, fourth one is fourth one is threonine, fifth one is proline, and sixth one is glutamic acid. Valine, histidine, leucine, threonine, proline, glutamic acid. Okay, so these changes is the main cause for causing sickle cell anemia, and the mutant hemoglobin molecule undergo polymerization under low oxygen content and causes in the change in the shape of the RBC or erythrocyte from biconcave disc-like structure to sickle shape. Okay, elongated sickle shape like structure. So what will be the symptoms of sickle cell anemia? So what will be the symptoms of sickle cell anemia? Due to the aggregation of erythrocytes in the venous capillary system, several tissues suffer severe damage because of the lack of oxygen, and it is known as sickle cell crisis. It is known as sickle cell crisis. As you know, the biconcave shape of the erythrocytes helping them to carry maximum amount of oxygen. If it is not having its proper shape, then it will not be able to carry out proper amount of oxygen. So this sickle cell crisis may occur, and such erythrocytes are destroyed more rapidly than the normal blood cells, and which may lead to anemia. Okay, and the person may suffocate faster in the crowded place or in the hilly region because they will be lacking oxygen. Okay, their RBC will not be able to carry sufficient amount of oxygen. That is all about sickle cell anemia. Next one is phenylketonuria. Last one is phenylketonuria. So this is the inborn metabolism disorder, and it is also a autosomal recessive. And it is the inborn metabolism disorder. Phenylketonuria is the inborn metabolism disorder. Okay, and a particular enzyme which helps in the conversion of the amino acid phenylalanine to tyrosine. So phenylalanine will convert to tyrosine with the help of phenylalanine dehydrogenase. Okay, that particular enzyme phenylalanine, hydroxylase, phenylalanine hydroxylase. Okay, so a particular enzyme is required for the conversion of the phenylalanine to tyrosine. Both are amino acid. So for the conversion of the amino acid phenylalanine to tyrosine, phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme is required. But in this particular inborn metabolism disorder, this enzyme will be absent. The person will lack this particular enzyme, and as a result of that, what will happen? The phenylalanine is accumulated and converted into phenylpyruvic acid and its other derivatives. Okay, so now this due to the absence of this enzyme, this formation will not take place. So phenylalanine will be converted into what? This one will be converted into phenylpyruvic acid and its other derivatives. Okay, and accumulation of this in brain results in the mental retardation, and ultimately this one will accumulate in the cerebrospinal fluid and brain, and this can cause a mental retardation, and these are also excreted through the urine. This can also be excreted through the urine because of its poor absorption by kidney. Kidney will not absorb this part, so this part will be released through the kidney. Okay, and ultimately this can cause mental retardation. So that is all about phenylketonuria. So these three are main Mendelian disorders which are in your NCERT syllabus. Okay, so for today that's it. In my next class I will discuss about the chromosomal disorder. So up to this portion clear, everyone? Okay, so thank you everyone.